Do we have a bunch of monks running around in New Orleans? Is the Pope residing there and somebody forgot to tell us? Why would that be cause to pause? Why would that be a reason to trade Zion Williamson? Mariah Mills, what is wrong with you? Respectfully, seriously, what's wrong with you? First of all, why are you publicizing stuff like that?
So, of course, the New Orleans Pelicans are not going to move off of Zion Williamson, Stephen A., for his off-the-court situation with one Mariah Mills. That's not why the New Orleans Pelicans would actually trade away Zion Williamson. The reason they trade him away, well, there's at least 10 of them. We'll cover a couple of them right now. One of them is that 54% of his games, he hasn't played in them. That is a pretty big reason for the New Orleans Pelicans to trade away Zion Williamson at this point. Personally, I think this is all ridiculous. Zion Williamson is a generational basketball player, and when he's on the court, quite frankly, he's just absolutely amazing, and he really hasn't even played all that much yet. 26 points a game on 60% shooting from the field. Yeah, those numbers are absolutely historic. I don't know. For the New Orleans Pelicans to even consider this at this point just seems utterly crazy to me. That being said, the Pelicans are indeed sitting there at home right now. Their executives are all sitting in their on their couches, and they all have their Staples red buttons. They're getting ready to press the button on a trade. And the question is, will they end up trading with Portland, or will they end up trading with Charlotte? Those are the two teams in question leading up to tomorrow night's NBA draft. Now, if the New Orleans Pelicans actually do this, they will have a wide variety of legitimate reasons to move off of Zion Williamson. Now, we've covered a little bit of the fact that he hasn't been available. He's been Kawhi Leonard available. And we've covered some of the other issues, some of the, I guess, off the court issues, and then having some issues with the management team. And maybe there's been some rumors that he's not great in the locker room, which I just find hard to believe. Zion Williamson, once again, is a absolute generational talent. And it would be a horrific mistake for the New Orleans Pelicans to not at least run it back for at least another half a season with Zion Williamson to see what happens. Now, they are in love in New Orleans. Well, a lot of people are in love with a lot of things in New Orleans, but the Pelicans are absolutely in love with Scoot Henderson. And who isn't? I mean, he could be the second coming of one Russell Westbrook. And if you have an opportunity to pick that up, because one thing for sure about Russell Westbrook, especially early in his career as well as the middle part of his career, is he was always healthy. He was always on the court. He was a freaking Energizer bunny rabbit during his heyday. And having a guy like that and pairing him with the other players that they currently have on this New Orleans Pelicans team, quite frankly, makes a lot of sense. So I could see the GM of the New Orleans Pelicans sitting there having a nice glass of, I don't know, brandy. I don't know what GMs drink these days. Personally, I would think they would be drinking some bourbon. Nice glass of bourbon with one of those big ice cubes, you know, the ice cube that makes up 3 ice cubes. It's a huge ice cube. And having that cocktail and hitting that Staples red trade button and getting a deal done with the Charlotte Hornets seems to be the most likely of the actual scenarios. Now, do I think this should happen? And the answer to that, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, is absolutely not. Look, Zion Williamson is too much of a generational style basketball player to simply let him walk out the door at this point. We need a little bit more time. We need a little bit more history before I think we should agree that the New Orleans Pelicans should go ahead and simply move off of Zion Williamson. I think if they end up doing this, they are going to absolutely regret this trade.